From the heart of the Space City to the heart of Gen Z, welcome to Next Gen Conversation. Not Dad's Talk Radio. Ethan talks to you about the issues and events that matter to our generation. This is the Next Gen Report with Ethan Buchanan.
Hey, good Tuesday evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Welcome to the Next Gen Report, Tuesday evening live. Brought to you by Deusvult Lapel Pins. Go check them out, ladies and gentlemen. DEUSVULT lapelpins.com. Wherever you're listening, whenever you're listening. Take a quick break. You can do the picture-in-picture if you're watching the live stream right now. Go check out Deusvult Lapel Pins. They make a lot of really fantastic products, and I am super grateful to have them as a sponsor for the Next Gen Report and for the Tuesday evening live stream. Alrighty, we have got a lot to get to, but before we do any of that, I want to really quick just throw out where you can find me if you just watched the X live stream. If you're just peeking in, this is the first time you've seen or heard me. Hi, my name is Ethan Buchanan. I host a radio show here in Houston, Texas that I'm very happy to host on Sunday evening, 7 p.m., AM 950 KPRC. By all means, tune in to me there and listen. If you want to catch up on the show, that's all recorded and reposted as well. You can watch last Sunday's show or shows from months and months ago right here on X or wherever you get your podcasts, so check me out there. Also, real quick, I want to encourage you, by all means, use the chat. I see Brad is already in here kicking things off. Brad Esquire, good evening to you. For everybody else watching and reading along in the chat, playing along in the chat, by all means, feel free to weigh in on any topics or anything I say. If you think I've said something ridiculous and silly, by all means, tell me. Just know that if you're too mean, I will send Brad after you. And he is an attack dog. He is vicious. He will get you. All right. Now, moving on from the housekeeping, I want to talk real quick about this diarrhea outbreak, just because this is hilarious to me. This is just crazy. Here it is from ever trustworthy CNN. Outbreak of diarrhea from parasite expands to more states as U.S. cases soar beyond last year's level. Oh no, they're beyond last year's level. Whatever are we going to do? There have been 1,654 confirmed cases of cyclosporasis. Sporasis, I think is how that's pronounced. Acquired in the United States since May 1st, and more than 5,100 additional cases are being investigated in the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Now, the thing that really sticks out to me here is how tiny that number is, 5,100. That doesn't seem like that many. We're a country of probably in the neighborhood of 400 million people. 5,000 people getting really bad diarrhea, which is what this is, doesn't really seem like that big of a deal to me. What is really interesting is kind of who's responsible. And we don't know this for sure, but apparently, it's Taco Bell. So according to Fox, Taco Bell investigated, where'd it go? As lettuce emerges as possible source of cyclosporasis outbreak. So now the government is looking into whether Taco Bell is basically giving people really severe diarrhea. Now listen, I'm not a doctor, and I'm by no means an expert in whatever this disease is. But let me just get out ahead of everybody here and say, if there's a big diarrhea problem going around, it's probably Taco Bell. I think it's a safe bet to say it might be Taco Bell. And listen, I don't want to throw them under the bus. All I'm saying is Taco Bell has a record. And we all know that. Carnifex Maximus says, 90s Taco Bell never betrayed me like this. It used to be better. I don't know what to tell you. It used to be better. Now, from what I understand about this disease is it basically comes from human fecal matter getting on produce. Like as it's grown, human fecal matter gets on it, and then it just doesn't get washed off or cleaned properly throughout, the life cycle of whatever piece of lettuce you happen to be eating. And so by the time it gets to you, it's still got this bacteria from this human fecal matter, and that gives you super bad diarrhea. And again, if you think this is a big deal, let me assure you that it's really not. I keep seeing everybody wanting to make a big deal out of this. CNN, of course, did their big scary headline. Oh, look at how many cases. There's more than last year. There's 1,600 confirmed cases. Maybe on the high end, if everybody that we think might has it does, there's 5,000 in the whole of the United States. Forgive me for not being that concerned about it. It's pretty much impossible to die from this. Basically, the only way for this to kill you is you have so much diarrhea that you get so severely dehydrated that you die from that. But it's my understanding that this is a relatively minor issue and not that many people have it. And yet, it's become a national news headline. This is everywhere. I can't go one single day without hearing about this. Why is that? Honestly, if you know, fill me in, because I don't. It seems like we're all just super desperate for like the next big disease. Maybe it's just like the mainstream media being still so high off the COVID supply and they want more scary disease headlines. But come on, guys. It's 5,000 people that just really need to use the restroom a lot for a month or so. Can we not pretend this is a big deal? Please? It's really not that big of a deal. Brad says, apparently I have never had parasitic diarrhea. I mean, that's true. I have never had parasitic diarrhea. And I'm not saying it's pleasant, because I'm sure it's not. But 5,000 people having a rather unpleasant month or so, is that really the bar to clear for national news? And I'm not saying it's not. It can be. I'm just saying we should look into that. Retired Navy vet says it's a distraction. I believe that. I'll give you that one. It is a distraction, both in real life and in the news cycle, I think. I don't know which one of those you meant, but I think both are true. I'm sure it's very distracting to have parasitic diarrhea in your daily life. And I'm also sure that they're trying to throw these headlines out there to get you to pay attention to that instead of more important things. Which, hey, there you go. I mean, that's one way to do it. People are definitely going to lock on to parasitic diarrhea. I mean, heck, I just flushed 8 minutes down the toilet, no pun intended, talking about it. Listen, I got to take a quick break, but we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Segment 2 of the Tuesday evening live stream. While we were away, both retired Navy vet and Brad in the comments mentioned how they thought there were more cases of this going around. And hey, you're not alone. I did too until a few hours ago as I was doing my show prep. I started actually looking into this and I'm thinking, okay, well, how big of a deal is this actually? And come to find out, it's not at all. But yeah, it just really goes to show you how crazy the media is, because this has had wall-to-wall nonstop coverage on a lot of the mainstream media sites, and yet you actually dig into it and you realize, oh, actually, effectively nobody really has this disease, so it doesn't actually matter. The more you know. Anyway, real quick, before we get rolling on to some more stuff, we're going to dig into the mainstream media here a little bit more, kind of bash them a little bit. But before we do that, I want to ask you to support my show sponsor, Deus Vult lapel pins. This is a fantastic business. These guys are great. This guy makes these pins, and he designs them all himself. He runs this whole operation with just his family. It's just their kind of a labor of love, passion project, and they've got a lot of fantastic pins to celebrate your American heritage, Christian faith. If you're a Texan like me, like I know a lot of my listeners are, they got a lot of cool stuff for you, bumper stickers, some lapel pins here that are fantastic, the 1824 Mexico flag. There's a lot of really cool stuff here that I highly, highly suggest you take a look at. Even if you don't buy anything, just go look at it. If you dig through the site, I promise you'll find something you like. If you find something you like, use promo code NEXTPIN2026. You will get 10% off. Just helps the show out, lets people know that, hey, people are actually watching. And also, you're giving your money to a business that supports your values and will make you look fantastic. I'm wearing a Day Use Volt lapel pin right now. I wear one every time I do the show. I wear one all day, every day while I'm at work at iHeartMedia Houston. It's fantastic. Wear one. All right, now, the mainstream media. We were just kind of talking about how, the mainstream media has been blowing this up. They've been making this entire cyclosephora or whatever it's called thing seem way worse than it is. They're actually really good at this. Making things look terrible is a specialty of the media. I should know. I work in media. I'm not just saying this because I think it. I know this is how the industry works. I've watched people do it. This is their favorite thing to do. And they love doing it to red states in particular. And here's an example of this. This is Fox reporting on a CNBC survey. CNBC survey mocked after ranking all red states as the top 10 worst places to live. I think Texas came in on number 2 on this list. Yeah, here it is. CNBC just dropped their 2026 10 worst states to live in ranking. And there it is, Texas right at number 2. Now listen, I'll be the first to tell you, the weather here in Texas is frankly kind of terrible. There's maybe a full month worth of spread out weeks throughout the year where the weather, at least here in Houston, is actually nice. And the rest of the time, it's usually stupid hot. It's always stupid humid. When it's not stupid hot, it's stupid cold. So the weather is pretty bad. But is the weather so bad that Texas is the second worst state at all to live in the entire United States of America? No. By every other metric, Texas is actually a fantastic state to live in. The cost of living isn't super high, at least compared to other states. It could do to come down a little bit, but it's not terrible. There's a lot of work opportunities here, a lot of business growing here. Tax isn't too bad. We don't have a state income tax. That's a big plus. So there's a lot going on for the state of Texas. But somehow, it's the number 2 worst state to live in. And you might wonder, okay, well, how exactly did they get there? And you realize it's their metrics. The list is a subset of CNBC's annual America's Top States for Business study. To determine its life, health, and inclusion category, the outlets utilize criteria such as crime rates, air quality, healthcare, and childcare availability. The metric also factors in heavily ideological policies, explicitly penalizing states for lack of protections against discrimination and restrictive abortion laws. And if you dig into this more, you realize things like Tennessee's bathroom bill is the big reason they're ranked above Texas in being the worst. So the reality is, what's supposed to be a financial survey, a financial metric, just becomes more woke ideological pushing. But people don't really dig into it. People don't look at it. They look at that, oh, CNBC, that's a business news site. They say Texas is one of the worst places to live in. These Republicans must be doing a terrible job. And then they kind of extrapolate that. They use that nationwide to say, oh, look what a terrible job the Republicans are doing. Their states are the worst ones to live in, according to CNBC. And in reality, these are some of the best states you could possibly live in. They're just hot. The reason I point this out to you is because it actually has real-world effects. This is a kind of darkly humorous story that I think fits in real nicely here. Libs of TikTok actually put this up. An American man pretending to be a woman fled the U.S. to the Netherlands for asylum. And now he regrets it because of all the Muslim migrants who are violently targeting him. So essentially, Texas or Tennessee are too transphobic. It's too terrible of a place to live. It's the worst state to live in the entire United States. So I'm just going to move to the Netherlands. And now he regrets it because of course he does.
between here and there is a bunch of Algerians and Moroccans or whoever who think that queer people should be beaten. I think that this system where you have people just living out here that are unhappy is not good.
Yeah. And do you think it's safe here?
No, I don't see it.
Oh, it's scary. It's legitimately scary. I decided that my mental health is degrading so substantially being here that I just need to get out. And the situation that I have in the US as a trans person, not good, right? But here I will be hurt or killed between here and
Okay, so in the US, they'll just make you use the men's restroom. Oh, boo hoo. And this guy let the mainstream media tell him that that was so bad, that was so oppressive, that he would be better off, I guess, just moving to the Netherlands. And then he gets to the Netherlands and then he realized, actually, the United States was pretty great and I've been duped. What a silly goose I am. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's just ridiculous. But hey, that's where we're at with the mainstream media. All right, moving on from that, let's talk about the Strait of Hormuz real quick. Everything going on over there in the Middle East. This has been a just absolute whirlwind, and this is why I don't like talking about the Middle East too much. Is just because it literally switches minute to minute. I'm sure what I'm about to tell you, by the time we get done with this live stream, will be completely flipped and reversed and something else will be going on. But Donald Trump had said the Strait of Hormuz, despite everything going on, is open. We, the United States, are going to take care of it. We're going to protect it. We're not going to let Iran charge a toll, but we're going to charge a toll. And we're just going to protect everybody. Iran is under a blockade. They can't get in or out anymore, but we're going to charge a toll, 20% on all cargo ships, ready to go. And then he turns around a few days later and says, never mind, we're not doing the toll at all, which is essentially what he's saying here in this Truth Social. He's rather than doing a toll, he's just going to have a bunch of Iranians come in, or not Iranians, just countries in the Middle East do investment in the United States in return for us protecting the toll. That's fine. I don't mind that. I don't like the idea of us charging a toll, but I don't mind other businesses coming in and investing in the United States, other nations. That's okay with me. I really don't like the fact that the goalpost seems to be moving. That's what bothers me. And that's what this looks like. We'll dig into this more in just a minute because I'm running up against another break. But the goalpost needs to be made very clear here. And it needs to stay put. Once we have the goalpost, stop moving the goalpost. Get there, and then if we want to say, okay, now we're going to do this other thing, that's fine. But at this point, I don't know what the objective is anymore. I got to know what the objective is. The American people want an objective, and then you'll get more people on board. All right, we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again. I see we've got another bunch of new people that have joined in since the start of the last segment. So real quick, I want to once again encourage you to check out Deus Vault Lapel Pins, DEUSVULT lapelpins.com. They're the sponsor of this show. They're the sponsor of this evening's live stream. Fantastic business, fantastic products. You're going to love something on their website. Check it out. Also, Sunday evening, 7 p.m., AM 950 KPRC. You can listen anywhere in the city of Houston on your terrestrial AM radio or on the free iHeartRadio app. Now, we're talking about Iran, the Strait of Hormuz, all of that good stuff. President Trump says we're now basically going to be the wardens of the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to be keeping it open, letting ships through, defending them if need be from the Iranians. Let me know what you think about this, because on the one hand, this is inching a little bit closer to some of the forever wars we've seen in the past. I don't want that. I know most Americans don't want that. But then again, this really isn't anything new. The U.S. has been playing world police for basically since the end of World War II. Our Navy has been all over the world doing basically this for some time. So Is it ideal to me? No, not exactly. Is it anything really incredibly new, incredibly mind-boggling? Also, no. We'll see. It is going to be expensive, which that's a big deal for me. We're what, 30, 40 trillion dollars in debt, somewhere in there, somewhere in that range. So spending a whole bunch of money on stuff, I don't like that either. Now, if we can make that back through reimbursements or a toll, that's something. Other investments, that's what President Trump is hinting at right now. Here is what he had to say in the Oval Office. I believe this was just today. And here he is talking about all the investment that we're going to get from all these other Saudi Arabian countries and countries in the Middle East, so we won't have to charge a toll in the Strait of Hormuz.
Put that out yesterday. We've been doing that for many, many years. It was never fair to me that we would be guarding the strait when we basically don't take anything. We don't need the oil at all. And it wasn't important for us, but it was important for allies. It was important for people that we get along with very well, including the major Gulf state countries. So I put it out yesterday. I thought it was good. I was called by different people, different countries, kings and emirs and all of the people that we all know and we all love. And they've been very strong partners. And they said, we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States with billions and billions of dollars and continue our record setting, because there's never been a time like this for the United States, with the factories, with the plants, with everything else. And we would like to invest tremendously in the United States as opposed to charging a fee. And I like that, actually, because I don't think anybody should be able to charge a fee for the strait or for any other strait relationship in terms of other sections of the world. I don't think anybody should be really in that position. But we were doing it as a reimbursement. The Gulf states are going to invest a tremendous amount of money into the United States, and that was very satisfactory to me. I think it's actually much better.
I concur. I also think it's much better. I do think it's kind of funny that he's sitting there going, we don't want to charge a fee for the strait. We don't think anyone should charge a fee for the strait. But we are going to charge a fee for the strait. We are going to do it, but we don't want to do it. We don't want anybody else to do it. Now, again, the question kind of becomes, okay, what's the end point here? Is this just what we're doing forever now? Because they're investing in the United States, so they're essentially paying for it, so we're just going to keep this going for all of time? Is there an actual end goal here? That's what needs to be ironed out. The American people, even if this is great, even if, let's give Donald Trump all the benefit of the doubt, he's playing 4D chess, he's got a master plan, we just don't know what it is yet, but trust me, it's going to all work out and it's going to be way better than anything you've ever seen before. Even if that is the case, which I don't know, it might be, it might not. If you want the American people to buy into that, you have got to give them an end goal. Now, that end goal could just be we wipe Iran off the face of the map. And then once they don't have a single light that's capable of turning on, let alone a missile that can be launched, that's when we're done. Because the Strait of Hormuz doesn't need to be protected. Because Iran can't do anything about it. If that's the goal, let's just do it. What are we waiting around for? We've got plenty of military capacity. Let's just level it and be done. But that hasn't happened yet. Now, maybe the goal is just bypass the Strait of Hormuz entirely. It doesn't matter whether or not Iran has a bunch of missiles, because they can't really do anything about the Strait of Hormuz because we're not using the Strait of Hormuz because we built a pipeline. President Trump also hinted at that over a Fox News interview. This is with Trey Yingst, where he kind of dropped a hint about a pipeline.
Data trackers indicate that just 10 vessels passed through the Strait of Hormuz on Monday, less than 10% of what normally goes through this critical waterway. Mm-hmm. When you say the strait is open, what do you mean?
It's open if people want to go through it. We're not opening it for Iran. That's the only one it's closed for. It's closed for Iran, both in and out, but it's open now. A lot of things have happened, Trey, in the last few months. Pipelines are being built. We're coming up with great alternatives, including Texas, including Alaska.
So there it is. We're coming up with great alternatives, including Texas, Alaska, pipelines are being built. Okay, if that's the end goal, I like that. That's a good end goal. That's something to go off of. We're working on a pipeline to get around the Strait of Hormuz. Refining capacity in Texas is being brought up. We're building new plants in Texas. Once that stuff is online and operating and at full capacity, then we can basically just be done with the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, that gives us an actual end goal. We know what the timeline is. We can start working towards that, and the American people won't feel like they're being blindsided. So if that's the goal, just come out and say it. And I think it would be smart to come out and say it for all the reasons I just said. We would actually have concrete timelines. We've already started to get some of that. This is from the New York Post. Middle East allies rushing new pipelines and a port to bypass Iran's grip on the Strait of Hormuz. Oil producers in the Persian Gulf are making plans to bypass the Strait of Hormuz with new pipelines and a new port after Iran has repeatedly attacked ships and blocked traffic. The idea is to minimize Tehran's leverage on the waterway that once saw 20% of the world's oil pass through it as the war stretches into its 5th month. Iran has already insisted that it will impose tolls on the strait, which could cost tens of billions of dollars, and in some cases, it is extracting millions of dollars of protection money per oil tanker. 2 such projects are already underway in the United Arab Emirates and Iraq, with Saudi Arabia eyeing its own and Dubai also seeking to establish a new port to further reduce dependence on the straits. They actually include in this article a map. There's a little proposed pipeline down there right on the peninsula that is the UAE. I think it's called the Arabian Peninsula, but I'm not sure. I don't want to get my terminology wrong. But there you have it. There's a pipeline right there that would basically go from one end of the Strait of Hormuz across the peninsula to the other, and they've built a port right there. That would be great. Completely bypass the strait entirely. Have your ships dock, fill up, and go. And they don't even have to set foot in the Strait of Hormuz. That takes Iran completely out of the picture. There's also another proposed one from the Persian Gulf across Saudi Arabia into the Red Sea. Great. Do it. There's one that goes from like Iraq to, I guess, through Israel. That's interesting. Sure. Why not? Just take Iran completely out of the picture. I like that. And we have timelines for these. I believe at least one, if not 2 of these proposed pipelines, and I'm not sure which ones, are supposed to be done by like 2028. So if Trump could just come out and say, look, this is what we're working on right now, and this is when we'll be done. And until then, we're going to have the Navy protect the Strait of Hormuz, and we're going to basically be reimbursed for that via massive investments into the United States. That's fantastic. That is good for everybody. It'll bring your energy prices down. It'll create more job opportunity, presumably in the United States, if they're investing in businesses or building businesses, starting businesses. Another thing that I want to really quickly put into perspective is the price of oil actually right now. I know there's a kind of a tendency to immediately panic. There's no need to panic. Oil is at 79 a gallon right now, or 79 a barrel, I should say. 79 a gallon would be panic. That would be panic mode. But it's 79 a barrel right now. Now, if you look at it in, 6 months ago, here's April, it was well over $110 a barrel. Now it's just below 80. That's still not ideal for the American consumer, but it's not the end of the world. So let's not panic. I believe that's still within the landman golden ratio of above 60 but below 90. So listen, all I really want at the end of the day, and let me know if you agree in the chat, you got the comments right there. All I want is an end goal. Tell me what we're after. I'm very open to a lot of things so long as I know why we're doing it. All right, let's move on to something that I think is fairly important. And this kind of addresses broader conservative Republican strategy as a whole. You probably saw there was another ICE-related shooting, this time in Maine. This comes just a couple of days after the one here in Houston, and it seems to be a similar situation. ICE agents try to stop a driver that is believed to be an illegal alien that they're after, and he starts acting erratically with his car while the ICE agents are trying to get him. And they end up having to, whether it's for fear of their own safety or the safety of someone else, shoot the driver, and the driver dies. This is not the first time this has happened. Of course, we all know the Renee Good situation in which she basically did the same thing. She was using her vehicle as basically a massive roadblock, and ICE was trying to get her out of there, and then they were going to arrest her for a second, and then they weren't, and the next thing you know, she's ramming an agent with her car, and then she gets shot for the same reason. And regardless of what the radical left keeps trying to tell you, you can clearly see in that officer's body cam, she did hit him, which is why she got shot. You are not allowed to hit an officer with your car. If you tried to do that or give them a reason to think you're trying to do that, they're probably going to shoot you. And they're well within their rights to do so. Regardless, the left has gotten really good at manufacturing these situations where this happens and then going and complaining about it. And this is part of their strategy. Make no mistake, they're doing this intentionally because they want the chaos. The chaos is a political tool for them. So if they can say, oh my God, look how evil you are. You just shot this person and all they did was drive. They were just driving their car and you shot them. You're so evil. And then with the same breath, they'll turn around to all their buddies and say, hey, try to trifle about with your car so that we can manufacture these situations in which people are getting shot in their cars and we can make ICE look evil. I guarantee you those conversations are happening. Apparently it's working. This is the report from Reuters. ICE suspends traffic stops in wake of Maine fatal shooting, Bordersar says. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency has ordered its officers to suspend most vehicle stops around the country after agents fatally shot 2 men 6 days apart during traffic stops in Texas and Maine. The shift in arrest tactics, which President Donald Trump's border czar Tom Homan called a temporary pause in vehicle stops, was implemented 1 day after an ICE agent killed a driver in Columbia in the coastal Maine town of Biddeford, about 15 miles south of Portland. Okay, how much ground are you going to give them? That's what I got to ask. How much ground? Because if you think they're going to be happy with ICE agents are no longer pulling people over, let me be the first to tell you they're not. Now, again, like the article points out, Tom Homan insists this is a temporary pause. We're just going to do some more training, try to make these a little safer, and then we're going to implement them back here pretty quickly. Here he is saying that on Fox today.
And why are you doing it?
Well, that decision was made by the secretary along with leadership at ICE. But look, it's not a policy change. It's a temporary pause. Look, we had the last couple of shootings, ICE leadership along with DHS believes they want to look at these last a couple of incidents and look, is there something that could have been done better? Is there any training that can be improved? Or it's simply ICE doing their job and bad things happen when people don't comply with law enforcement officers. So I think this.
All right, let me stop you right there. It's the second one, Tom. It's always going to be the second one. There's no reason to even suggest it's something else. We know it's the second one. We do. This is people not complying, creating situations that make situations worse. And then tragically, again, the loss of human life is sad. I wish it didn't have to happen. But let's not pretend this is somehow maybe even possibly the fault of ICE. We know that the left trains their people to do this.
It's going to be a short pause, and I'm confident that ICE is well trained in vehicle stops, and you're going to see us keep moving forward. But this is just a temporary pause where they look at the incidents. But let me say this too: I hear a lot of noise right now. This is going to affect ICE arrests, and it's not going to. Look, I've done this for a long time. You can when that alien leaves his home before he gets into the car, you can arrest him then. You can wait till the vehicle gets to the destination and arrest him then. Every case is different. Now, we know vehicle assaults are up over 3,400%. So if we can arrest that alien outside that vehicle and take that 2-ton weapon away from them, that's good in some instances. Other instances, we're going to still need to do vehicle stops for a significant criminal. You may want to stop him in a desolate area before he gets downtown. You certainly don't want to stop a criminal alien near a school.
At the end of the day, the thing that has to be recognized here is this is never going to be pretty. So if that's the goal, give up now. It's not happening. The left is not going to be happy with any single capitulation you make other than leaving the border wide open. That's what they want. They will continue to encourage their activists, even openly encouraging, in some cases, illegal aliens to use their vehicle as weapons, use their vehicle erratically in order to get vehicle stops to stop. And then once they do, they will find some other thing. Whatever the next thing is, they will find some way to make that risky. And that'll become the next big thing. This is the point where the American public, the average Republican voter, and then the entire federal government, the entire Trump administration, needs to just frankly nut up a little bit. Bad things are going to happen. You've got 10 million illegal aliens, probably more, in the country. Many of them have extensive criminal records, come from lives, if not still actively live in lives where they're violent for a living, violent as a matter of policy, of daily life. So removing these people from the country is not going to be pretty, but it's not going to get any less necessary. All of these illegal aliens have got to go. The correct number of illegal aliens inside the United States, the acceptable number, is 0. That's not going to be a pretty policy. It's going to be difficult to get there. Everybody needs to just make peace with that now, because that's the reality. Unfortunately, we've got a bunch of people like Susan Collins in Maine who just don't have the stomach for difficult reality. It looks like she may be the reason the vehicle stop policy was instituted in the first place. She put this up on Twitter. I spoke with DHS Secretary Mullen last night and urged him to cease all non-urgent vehicle stops in the wake of yesterday's deadly Biddeford shooting. I am encouraged that the department has agreed to do so. An impartial investigation into the shooting in Biddeford needs to proceed, as the details surrounding this tragedy are important. It's extremely unfortunate that the agent involved did not have a body-worn camera, la-di-da-di-da. While it is clear that ICE needs to improve its performance, it is important to remember that the work ICE does to protect our country goes far beyond immigration enforcement. So now she's trying to couch it. ICE is important. We should support ICE. But you can't couch this. You have to go all in. It has to be all in or nothing. Because the moment you start giving concessions, there's no limiting principle on that. What's your standard? Do you not want any illegal aliens to get upset during the process of deportation? Because guess what? That's not going to happen. Do you want to make sure that no illegal alien possibly is hurt at all ever by an agent while they're being deported? That's not going to happen either. The options are either just get on with it or let illegal aliens have the run of the country. Pick one. All right, listen, that is all I have got for you this evening, but there's a lot of stuff going on. Like I mentioned, the Sunday show, 7 p.m., AM 950, KPRC. We've also got some fun stuff happening on KTRH. KTRH Radio, AM 740 in the Houston area or wherever on the iHeartRadio app. Thursday evening, I believe it's 8 p.m. Central Time, President Trump is going to be giving a big announcement, a big speech. We don't know what it is. It will be live on KTRH. Tune in and listen to it. I have been Ethan Buchanan. This has been the Next Gen Report. Thank you very much for listening.